Hey stars, welcome to Akashic Prince. If you're new here, welcome. If you're not, welcome back. And if you haven't already, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, turn on your post notifications, and hype up the video. Few downloads. One, anxiety is a very heavy demon. I think anxiety might be worse than depression. No cap. Like anxiety sucks, bro. Anxiety fucking sucks because anxiety is a key holder. Anxiety is a gatekeeper. If you let it, it will steal. It's not even a gatekeeper. Anxiety is a key thief, stealing keys that don't belong to it to open doors for things that don't belong in. Particularly not physical things, mental things. Anxiety is a stinking ass bitch. Also, check in with yourself weekly. If you can't bring yourself to do it, commit to checking in daily. Check in with yourself weekly to see where your vibe is. That way you can kind of, when you understand like what vibration you're on, you can really understand what type of frequencies are circulating in your space, because it'll be the frequencies that have access to that level that you're on, right? And I realize that certain things can't reach certain levels. And so, but you have to break you have to break that threshold. And that's the hardest part right there, because that's where like things will begin to overpopulate. Energies, vibrations, frequencies, spirits, all type of shit will start to overpopulate that threshold so that you become fearful of breaking it. You got to break that threshold. Because once you do, can't none of that shit access it. That's why it's like, you know? And if anxiety can lead you there. Anxiety can lead you into depression, but anxiety can also lead you, it won't lead you, but every time it shows up, you overcome it, you do what you need to do to get through that threshold, you'll keep getting further and further away from the space in which anxiety can reach you. And I got this download. I talked about it in the membership, in the video that I posted yesterday, or was that the day before yesterday? It was either, I think I posted it on Friday or Saturday. Friday or yesterday, one of those. But I posted a new video in the membership, talking a little bit about like how I reached that conclusion. And like I had to do so through like literal action. Like it took me taking action, like experiencing something to really reach that conclusion. But that's how I learned. But it's interesting how doing things will help you overcome something that's not tangible, like anxiety. So do what you got to do to raise your frequency. And the higher your frequency, the higher you raise your frequency, the more support you'll be able to become aware of on that frequency to help you get higher, you know? But take your time. Don't be trying to raise your frequency too fast, because that can be just as overwhelming for you and you could crash. Because if you can't stabilize yourself, if something doesn't stabilize, it usually crashes, right? So take your time. Take your time. Because I had to go through a whole journey of like up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Okay, I can actually stabilize here. Okay, it's coming. I'm gonna feel myself coming down. Okay, I know how far I can go. So let me just gradually. I know how far I can go up, and I know how far I can go down. That I'm comfortable with. So before I get down to the point where I'm too uncomfortable, I'm going to start gradually going back up and up and up It's funny that me returning to the market, like trading on the market, is teaching me so much. But like I said, action, helping you overcome something that's not even tangible, taking action. That's why you have a body. So you can do things, you can experience, and then you can reflect, you know? Instead of being a spirit that is hoping to connect with a body, and hope that the body doesn't just do what the spirit wants them to do, but hopes that the body, high vibrational spirits will want you to reflect. Low vibrational ones won't, because then you'll just do what they want you to. But, hoping that the body will also reflect. The mind in the body will also, or the spirit in the body will also reflect in order to raise the vibration of that spirit. And that really shows you the truth about a spirit. Does it encourage you to raise your vibration, or does it encourage you to just act without thinking? Just another way of thinking about things, looking at things. I don't know how that resonates, because the random downloads that I be thinking be resonating perfectly with the reading. But yeah, take that how it resonates. And if you'd like to tap into that video where I talked about that, it's called The Other Side of the Universe. Feel free to get the membership. It's only one membership tier, and I believe it's $5.99 a month. Yeah. There's also going to be other perks that I'm developing for the membership. So some of the stuff that I'm going to put in the archive, I'm also going to put in the membership. So if you don't have access to the archive, it's actually on sale on my Etsy shop, and it's linked down below in the description box. The link to my Etsy shop is on sale. 50% off for the rest of the month. And I think this whole week I'm gonna do a 75% off sale. Or yeah. In the membership, I'm gonna put a 75% off discount code. Because not everything that I put in the archive is going on the membership. As far as access to things. But 30 Days of Fehu, the behind the scenes stuff that I'm not showing on Instagram, that's gonna go in the membership and the archive. And like I said, I have some other stuff coming up for y'all. We're gonna be doing a 30-day project every month this year. So there's gonna be at least 12 new projects going in the archive. Some of them will go on the membership, some of them won't. Seven of Pentacles. Well, some of them will go in the archive strictly, and then some of them, like I said, I'll share in the membership. Seven of Pentacles, investing, tending. You know what's funny? This is why I love learning. And it's good to be a student to life. No matter how much you know, allow yourself to see things from different perspectives, right? So I've been working with runes a lot lately, a lot. And really understanding. So my brain thinks in pairs because my Mars and Venus are both in Gemini in my 12th house. So I have to see things from at least two different perspectives in order to really, really understand them. I've been working with runes in pairs, right? And the two runes that I'm focusing on really heavily right now is Fehu and Urus, which y'all have heard me mention recently. And it's funny how they go together. It makes me think, and I talked about this in the membership video as well, the relationship in a little bit more depth. It makes me think of Shiva and Nandi. Not Shiva and Parvati, but Shiva and Nandi. And you can look up, who Nandi is to Shiva and who Parvati is to Shiva if you want to know more, because I'm not going to explain it in this video. But Fehu and Urus, tending to your strength, tending to your vitality, but it being something that you have to constantly and consistency tend to, like a skill. Like a frequency becomes a skill. Like the higher you get, the more you invest in yourself, maintaining the best version of yourself becomes a skill. It also becomes a craft. It becomes an art, something that you know you want to do all the time, so you naturally invest in it every single day. And that's what this card is making me think of, the relationship. Seven of Pentacles being the relationship between Fehu and Urus. I love the way that sounds. Urus. Like Urus. Urus. I guess you can say it that way, but Urus. That's how I understand it. The Magician, because you start to see that magic is like it's a give and take. There must be an exchange. For something to happen, there must be an exchange. If something only happens on one side, like think about an unrequited relationship. If the energy is only going one way and it's not coming back that way, like it's not, being reciprocated, nothing really happens. And that's where all of the disappointment leads, because it's like it's unrequited, But when you figure out what energies, because the Seven of Pentacles also makes me think, this also makes me think of the Seven of Pentacles in the Hoodoo in the Hoodoo Tarot. What is that? What sound is that? It's like your tongue slamming to the top of your roof, the roof of your mouth. I don't know if you're trying to figure out what sound I'm making. A threshold. Anyway. When you figure out the Seven of Pentacles in the Hoodoo Tarot talks about not casting your pearls amongst swine. And so when you realize what is low vibrational to you, you realize why things are unrequited. And then when you see what it is that energy that's can't give back lacks, you see what is valuable that you offer, what is valuable about the energy that you offer, right? And you can begin to identify that ability, that energy in others. Because then it's like, okay, you can understand the energy that I'm giving. You can not only can you understand it, you can receive it, which likely means you'll understand the value of it, and you'll want to give energy back. You get what I'm saying? Because you understand the value of what you just received. That is where the magic happens, where there is an exchange, and when there can be a stability in this new energy that's being created through an exchange. Transmutation, that's the magic, bruh. But it all depends on what you're choosing to invest in. And some of y'all have been, I feel like this is you choosing to invest in the magical things. What feels magical. Not what just requires you to do something. But what encourages you to do something that feels magical? Like some people might really like, their job because they feel like they can create magic there. They can do something that they, it's just something about being there that does it for them. You get what I'm saying? Versus like a person might not like their job, but they might like to go home and paint because they feel like, they're creating something magical. You get what I'm saying? You have to find follow what feels magical to you. Seriously, there are a million things that you're gonna want to do, but not everything you want is gonna make you feel magical. Not everyone you want is gonna make you feel magical. Some of the things you want are literally just meant for you to see that you're more valuable than the things that you want. So it's like, why do I really want this? I can have something better. Something that is more... something that I see as just as valuable as me. That makes sense. Spaces, people, things, like... I realize the world doesn't deserve me. And my, like, as much as I want, and this is me being transparent with y'all. As much as I want to be sober, meaning like no weed, because I don't do any other drugs. I mean, I do shrooms. I haven't in a while, but like, and I don't really drink like that. But the world doesn't deserve me sober. And I don't want to be on shrooms all the time. I don't want to drink all the time. But I don't mind being high all the time. There's nothing bad ever came from me being high all the time. I just know I have to let myself come down a little bit so that I can like understand what vibe I'm on, or what vibe I was just on, and where I want to go next, you know? And for a while, I wanted to be sober, but the world that we live in does not appreciate sober me. The world appreciates me in a higher vibration. It doesn't appreciate me naturally. It doesn't. And I get it, because there are parts of me that come through when I'm not high that trigger people. And as much as I know that triggers can help you grow, I would rather influence from a higher vibration. And so as much as I wanted to be sober, I realized that for me, the sober life is really unrequited. I love being high. Like, I love smoking weed. I do. I was sober for months, so I know what it's like. But it's like, I'd rather smoke weed. I like how I feel. I like, yeah, I feel good when I'm not high, but when I'm not high, I have to deal with anxiety. Just because of the world. Like, I've found peace within myself, but the world is just triggering. Like, the world will go out of its way to, like, force you to be triggered. And I don't have to deal with that when I'm high, you know? I don't. And so as much as, like I said, as much as I want to be able to live a super, 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 super sober life, this is life at the end of the day. And I had to remember, being sober allowed me to remember what world we're living in. And what my life would look like if I chose to live it completely sober for the rest of it. You know. 90 days was enough. Thank you. 90 days is enough. Miss me with the bullshit. Please and thank you. Please and thank you. But I say that to say, you realize the things that not just make you happy, but the things that keep you happy. And I feel like that's what you're investing in. And to each its own. To each its own. it's really not nobody's job to judge why the next person, like what the next person is doing, because you don't know why they're doing it. If you can't help them, leave them alone. But if you can, help. You know? The world is already triggering all of us anyway. But, you know, discernment. Still. Discernment. Two of Wands. And like I said, life starts looking different when you start seeing it through a magical lens. When life looks like shit, you can still make something of it, but like, it's the difference between life looking good and life looking magical. Or life being good and life being magical. And I'm gonna choose the magic every time. Some people would prefer for life to just be good. Magic is too much for them. No, I choose the magic. No, I like the magical stuff. And maybe because magic is too much for a lot of people, but it's just enough for you. Maybe that's why you were casting your pearl among swine, because you didn't want to feel left out in a certain sense. Like, we all go through this cycle of kind of wanting to be of the world and wanting to, you know, or not wanting to, but to a certain extent humbling ourselves. Like, kind of remembering who we are. And everybody does that in their own way, you know? But then, you know, you get to a point where you either realize, I'm not worth anything. Like, I'm not worth as much as I thought I was. Or you get to a point where you're like, I'm worth way more than this shit. I don't have to deal with this. I don't have to deal with this. I don't have to deal with this. My life can be magical. It don't just gotta be good. Good ain't good enough. I want magic. And magic might be too much for them. But like, I can't imagine my life without it. Life without magic is boring. It's boring. Knight of Wands. And so you choose to pursue. You seek ambitions on the path that's for you. Somebody was trying to block this magical path for you, like, so that you... I cannot make this up. Somebody was trying to block this magical path for you, so that you chose to live a life that you know you wouldn't be satisfied with, which would end up sending you down, instead of up. Because your natural frequency, for many of y'all, your natural vibration is high as fuck. But as the things in the world ambitiously try to lower your vibration daily, you know, you realize that you have to ambitiously do things that are going to raise your vibration every day. And if you want to stay in the it's like the threshold for between like it's almost like good don't exist no more. Like, life is either shit or it's magical. And so like, you really have to do what you gotta do, or like, you're just not gonna do anything at all. You're just gonna let life take over you. Now you choose what you surrender to. You can surrender to the magic, but you gotta break the threshold. Or you can surrender to the shit and just like deal with it, even though you really don't want to. Somebody was trying to plant something in you, anxiety, right? Which brings in intrusive thoughts and false thoughts, false memory, false reality. So that you become afraid to reach for the magic. It's almost like you don't feel worthy of the magic. Baby, you're worthy. You want to get high, get high. I'm not encouraging you. I'm not encouraging nobody to do drugs. Not at all. I live in a state where marijuana is legal recreationally. So getting high is something that everybody's doing here. There's no need to do anything illegal because you can just go to the dispensary. As long as you're like over 21, I think. Yeah, you can go to the dispensary, buy you whatever you want, and get as high as you want. You want to get stupid high? Get some RSO oil. You want to just get a little high? Get a pre-roll. You want to get high but not like stupid high? Get some edibles. Daily routine. I can't make this up. Your daily routine is high vibrational. Because it's like, right, if you don't feel good mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, it's going to be hard for you to take care of yourself. Like I said, your 6th house reveals your threshold to you. So some of y'all really need to do some 6th house work. Let me write that down, because maybe we can do that for 30 days. Yeah. Or at least check what's in your 6th house. Like, what energies are influencing your 6th house, and how can you use them? How can you align with them for your highest good? 6th house. That means regular placements, asteroids, fixed stars. What the fuck is in your 6th house? Because that's the everyday shit that's going to lead you to your 12th house. The things in your 6th house lead you to your 12th house. They help you get through your 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, and 11th house to your 12th house, right? Making it to your 11th house. 11th house is where your support is. 5th house is the resistance. Your 11th house is the threshold, so that you don't have to surrender to the resistance, yeah. But instead you do what you have to do so that you make it to the, support. That's where you transcend right after the support. 12th house. 11th house is support. 12th house is transcendence. 6th house is the threshold. Like, 6th house is low-key rock bottom. Bare minimum. Status quo. Based off whatever the fuck is in your 5th house. And your 4th and your 3rd and your 4th, your 2nd and your 1st. But specifically, your 5th and your 4th. But your 5th. 5th is childhood. Right? So take notes, because this could be helpful for some of y'all, especially y'all who don't really understand what to do with astrology. You want to understand astrology, but you don't know what to do with all of that fucking information. This is some tea right there. Check your 6th house. Because then it also shows you, like, check your 6th and your 12th. Because, like, you might see, like, why you feel guided to do certain things. Because it's going to lead you to your 12th house. Your 12th house is where the rewards are. That's where the treasure is. And then you integrate that in that house. And then it becomes, you can allow that energy can break that threshold and be utilized in your 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th house to enhance your 5th house. Bring it to your 6th house. Now your status quo is not down here, it's up here. You're more expensive. You're more high vibing naturally. You're doing things that keep you at a higher vibration. You get what I'm saying? Your worthiness is, your standards are, your life elevates. But that 6th house, 12th house transition, that's what really matters, for real. It's like from the Fool to the Hermit. Everything from the Fool to the Hermit are kind of things that are totally like low-key out of your control. As far as like when you first come to understand them. But everything between the Hermit and the sun, the world, is gonna require work. It takes work to complete a cycle. It takes consistency. But if the stuff that you can't control is stopping you from being consistent, you're gonna have you're gonna be crashing all the time and feeling like shit because you can't never complete nothing. But completing something once will completely erase all of those feelings of failing a million times. But you just gotta keep going. You did that. You did that. You broke the threshold. Or you're about to. You can use the spear as a walking stick, but that doesn't change its nature. You can allow yourself to live an experience, live a life, be around people, do things that don't align with who you actually are. But that doesn't change. That's never gonna change who you are and what it takes for you to live the best life you can. For you. You can't let people who are overcome by anxiety and other low vibrational fucking energies be the reason why you join their pity party. No. You know how they have like bitch be gone, like bug repellent? It's like weed is like anxiety repellent, like, but you gotta use enough of it. Low key. Cause you might have a higher threshold tolerance. It's for a reason. Tiden fever, yeah, change the tide. Because you can see more, you can feel more, you can understand more, you're aware of more. Which means you have the capacity to see from a higher perspective, access from a higher vibration, exist at a higher frequency. So if you're forcing yourself to exist at a lower frequency, it's going to be hard to see that higher vibration, that higher perspective, even though you have access to it. Now it's going to take a little bit more work every day to get back to what you have access to that maybe everybody don't have access to. You get what I'm saying? But it's not about the fact that they don't have access to it. You do. So what they don't have access to don't got nothing to do with you. You focus on what you have access to. This is a judgment moment because that's the judgment card in this deck. There's a few judgment cards in this deck, actually. At some point, I'm going to put this deck out for y'all to purchase. But I'm still learning new things about the deck. It's like you create something and then you use it. And then the thing itself teaches you new things about itself. Yeah, that's like the stage that I'm in with this deck. But it's like the same thing with self. You create a version of yourself and then you exist as that version of yourself for a while, and then you learn new things about that part of it, like yourself. That's like, oh, I didn't even know that. Okay, I can do that. I can use that. I see how I might not know what purpose that serves yet, but I'm sure it can be useful, so we're gonna note that. But it's like that. Instead of making judgment on others, what people who are giving into anxiety do, you're choosing to make judgment on yourself in a good way. I can do this, therefore I'm going to. Instead of, I don't know if I can do this, so I'm going to judge other people who I see doing it because I'm unsure about my abilities. Or I'm questioning myself. I'm questioning my abilities. I'm questioning my worthiness, my value. You're like, bitch, Only God can judge me. And if my higher self is my God self, then bitch, only I can judge me. So fuck what everybody else is talking about. I'm going to live my life the way I want to live it. The Council of Three, another judgment card. You begin to tap into that Trinity within. To realize what it takes for you to truly be happy. Glossy lips, baby eyes, pretty face, angel aura. What type of, what are you willing to do? Right? Because what we do, we usually consider work. Particularly, what are you willing to do in order to receive money? That's work, right? But it's also career. What are you willing to do long term? Because how you choose to live your life long term determines how much money you receive. If you work a job that only gives you $12 an hour, don't expect to become a millionaire. And you don't have the ability to invest that money or do anything with it other than try to pay bills, because $12 an hour in this world is insane. You are not able to pay your bills. What was I gonna say? If that's just what you choose to do long term, like struggle, don't expect to be a millionaire. Like, unless you win the lottery, like unless something miraculous just so happens to happen. But if you're barely paying your bills, but you making sure you play the lottery every day, that might be a high vibrational thing to you, because it's giving you the opportunity to change your odds. You might not be able to afford to physically, but your spirit is like, bitch, yes, I can. See, you can't judge it, because it's like they might not know what a person in that situation might not know what to do to change their odds other than play the lottery. And you never know. You can't say they're not going to win, because what if they do? But had they listened to you, they wouldn't have won, because they wouldn't have played. You get what I'm saying? Look, bro. Being at a high vibe puts you in a position to mind your business, because you're allowing yourself to see more beyond the judgment, not before the judgment or the judgment itself. Like, you don't see, it's like before judgment, all you see is guilt. After judgment, you can see innocence, change, right? But the judgment itself sometimes really don't allow you to see anything other than what you want to see. So you're basically investing in things, like I said, that make you feel magical. Even if you make $12 an hour, even working overtime, you can barely pay your bills, but you make sure you play the lottery. If that's what makes you feel magical, who am I to judge you? Because you could judge me for wanting to be high all the time. You could judge me for a lot of things. But guess what? Those things make me feel magical, so I really don't give a fuck how you feel about it. It don't change how magical those things feel. You get it? See? Judgment is a tool for self. Not something that you project at other people. Because you can't really judge them. Even if you can influence them, you can't really judge them, because an influence is based on something you can influence somebody to do something more than likely. If they already wanted to do it, they were just afraid of how they would be judged for doing it. But once they're influenced, it's like magical. They feel safe to do it despite the judgment, or they stop caring about the judgment, right? But you don't get to determine what is magical to them, because you can try to influence two people to do the same thing. But if both people don't see that thing as magical, they're not really going to be they're not really going to be influenced. If one person sees it as magical, but they're afraid of being judged, so they don't do it, but then you influence them to do it by doing it yourself, they're going to be like, eventually they're going to be like, I'm about to do that shit, fuck it. Versus somebody who's like, I don't see the magic in that. You're not going to be able to influence them because it's just like, there's no incentive. There's literally no incentive for, like, as far as they see it. So, you know, you can't judge them for not doing, just the same way you can't judge them for doing what they want to do. You can't judge them for not doing what you want them to do or what you think they should do. You get what I'm saying? Like, judgment is a one-way. Judgment is unrequited. Unless Judgment is unrequited unless you have a large influence. If you don't have a heavy influence, judgment don't mean shit. And a lot of people will judge you thinking that you give a fuck about what they think, thinking that there's somebody in your life that they're not. They might be that in their life, but they're not that in your life, so you don't give a fuck about the shit that they think you should give a fuck about because they give a fuck about it. You don't give a fuck. So they have no influence. Therefore, their judgment cannot influence you to do something differently or to feel differently. Like, this is something about what you do for work. You're about to do something that you started judging yourself based off like other people judging you, low-key. And you might even feel ashamed of admitting that you allow people to influence you to judge your, like, be like judgy towards yourself like that. But don't feel bad, because that experience, if you can feel shame about allowing certain things or certain people to influence you, you can acknowledge, okay, they had an influence over me at one point to where I couldn't even see it from this perspective. But now that I broke in that threshold, I can see it from this perspective. I get to choose now. I can do what don't feel magical, or I can do what does. Because now their judgment doesn't matter. Their judgment doesn't matter. I realize their judgment doesn't matter. The influence is broken. The spell is broken. I don't care. I don't really care anymore. I'm aware, but that don't mean I gotta care. You know? Like that. And you're gonna do something. You're going to choose to keep investing, or I want to say keep investing in something or return to something that's magical. It's not karmic to return to a higher vibration if you can now see that you allowed yourself to come down so low to exist at a high vibration that wants you to feel like a better life is you going back to the past. Especially if a high vibration is what you want in your future. You have to discern direction for yourself. It might have been your past, but it can also be your future. Your present gives you the opportunity to choose. It does not predetermine your next movement, though. You determine that. Your destiny is in your hands. That's why destiny swapping can't exist, because can't nobody make you, like, right? Even if something is your destiny, if you choose to not go towards that, you choose not to go in what someone else sees as your destiny. Because you might see your destiny as something else. So while they're thinking they're stealing the greatest version of your life from you, they're not even aware of what you understand as the greatest version of your life for you. You get what I'm saying? So what can they really take? An option that you don't even care about? Exactly. Exactly. You see how stupid some of that shit sounds? when you really think about it, control is often an illusion because the only person who can control you is you. There's a but there is not just one version of you. So don't think that the one version of you that you are in is the only one who has control over you. Every version of you has a little bit of control, which means it's not a singular choice. It's a vote. There are parts of you that are going to vote yes to something. There are parts of you that are going to vote no to something. And if you take that vote more than once, it might change over time. Parts of you that once voted no might start voting yes. And then it might be unanimous. Every part of you starts voting yes. And then it's like, oh. Yep. Is there a reason y'all voted no before? Well, we just couldn't see it from a certain perspective. So what made you vote yes this time? Well, and then you start to realize certain things that you didn't before. And it's like, oh, okay, cool. Yeah, everybody's a yes on that. All right, great. We're doing it. You don't need nobody else outside of you to vote yes. Because there are 12 parts of you. Really 13. Because when the whole agrees, you become aware of the 13th. The whole, right? The energy of the one rather than the 12. You realize how powerful the one is because it is the 12 and itself. It is all of the parts in the whole. The structure is the whole. The parts are the chaos. The structure is a part, though. A part that can't be acknowledged without the acknowledgement of the other 12. In order to fill the space, in order to realize the whole, the one, the 13th, right? Which is essentially death energy. But that is something you must agree on. Breaking a threshold. Death is just breaking a threshold. Death comes before the hermit, which means death is not what you think it is. You have to agree for that to be a threshold that you can't surpass in your physical form. But if all of you decide, agrees that you can pass through death still with your physical form in place enough to go through the rest of the journey, then you will. Fate will find a way because you've chosen the path of destiny and determined the limits, but also acknowledge the support. And sometimes when it's not a unanimous vote, majority wins. So if 9 parts of you vote yes, but 3 parts of you vote no, those 3 have to surrender to what the 9 want. You can't beat the mob. You can try. It's gonna fucking suck. You can't beat the mob though. And campaigning against yourself never did the mind any good. The soul, the spirit, or the body. So eventually you're going to have to surrender to yourself. Knowing I have self-control, but this is just something that I need to let myself, this is something that I just need to do. To get a better understanding of who I am. What I want. And what's magical to me. I'm literally going to leave that there. I don't even want to get into no mess right now. We could. Y'all. Y'all want to get into some mess? Okay, just a little bit. Just a little bit. Because I do have 12th house. Mars and Venus and Gemini. Messy trade. Let's go ahead and see this from Karmicville for a little bit. see it from a different perspective, right? Okay, cool. Train, the river, birthplace of dreams, amusement park, and the countryside. Oh, yeah, okay. Somebody was trying to trap you in away from home. If the countryside is your home, the birthplace of your dreams, then the amusement park is a limited space of false freedom because it's closed in. It only exists for a certain time in a certain place doing a certain thing. You get what I'm saying? But eventually that thing comes to an end, and if you're locked in there, imagine what it feels like to be in there and realize you have no control in this motherfucker. Versus the countryside, you can do whatever you want. No matter what time it is, there is no limit, right? Your dreams can be free versus feeling in a partial prison that only is fun sometimes. We're gonna use a whole nother tarot deck. Oh, that's cool though, because the pot tarot and then the mushroom tarot, like, up and down, but not so much up and down. It's really like up or sideways. Up or sideways. Down is when you choose a physical death, but sideways is like the death of an idea. Up is the death of an idea too. Depends on the perspective, right? Because sometimes out can be forward, it can be backwards, it can be left, it can be right, it can also be up, and it can also be down. The same way in can be all of those directions as well. Nine of Wands. Somebody wanted you to simply work doing something that you don't even enjoy, or doing something and not enjoying what you're doing. Not because you don't enjoy the thing itself, but you don't really enjoy your experience outside of the thing itself. So then you kind of stop enjoying the thing itself. And then, yeah, Nine of Cups in reverse. Is this whole thing in reverse? Yeah. Oh, which means that Nine of Wands is in reverse. Exactly how it's supposed to be. Because wish fulfillment is what's meant for you. That was the whole point. Somebody didn't want you to understand that wish fulfillment is your birthright. Reach for the stars. The magic. Overcome the fear. Or the anxiety of what that fear might look like. Fear is the threshold. Go past it. You have to face it so you can, go past it. But go past it. Life is scary. It's even scarier when you allow fear to start to create the limits around what's fun for you. Or what you should and shouldn't do. Or what you can and can't do. You can do whatever the fuck you want. You can do whatever the fuck you want. Four of Wands. You surpass fear and you'll arrive at your dreams. Because fear don't exist in your dreams. The dream life that you create for yourself don't involve fear. Fear is not a character. Like, at all. At all. Think of it like Draco. I was watching something the other day and I was talking with my mom about this today. Out of all 7 Harry Potter movies, Malfoy had 30 minutes screen time combined over all of the movies. 30 minutes. And when you think about it, for people who've seen all the Harry Potter movies, you're like, that nigga was so influential. All of those movies are like at least two, maybe 2.5 hours long. And it's 7 movies, and that man only had 30 minutes screen time over 7 movies, and to be a main character, no. But the further along you get, despite how influential I don't want to say, because he didn't influence nobody but Crab and fucking Goyle. But the fact that he influenced the audience enough to remember him, even if he can't really do shit, that's an opening, right? You start to believe in him until he finally has an opportunity to prove himself. And you realize that he's a coward. He's a coward. Fear is a coward. So show fear what it's like to be brave. That's what you did. You showed a coward what it's like to be brave. Instead of letting them put fear in your heart. No, you showed them what it's like to be brave. A brave heart. A free spirit instead of a bound one. I.e., live your fucking life. The Cowardly Lion from The Wiz. He was just scary as hell. Essentially, they all were letting certain types of fear and anxiety get to them, which was all influenced by other people. And all it took was one person to believe in them, for fear to kind of dissipate. Because that one person didn't just believe in them. They were willing to take action with or without them. Which showed them, okay, if you ain't afraid to do it, then shit, why should I be afraid to do it? Fuck it. Come on. We about to see. And they did. And they all end up seeing the truth because they wasn't afraid to do what needed to be done. Eveline was still existing. Do you think they gave a fuck anymore? No. Soon as they met Dorothy, Eveline's existence no longer had no influence. Because Eveline was influencing the people that was influencing each and every one of them. The moment Dorothy showed up, Eveline's influence meant nothing. So when you meet the Dorothy, it might not come as a person, it might come as a thing. It might come as an opportunity. But in the 3D, when it's hard for us to accept, like, we receive how we can. And the universe knows how we can receive. We're giving opportunities to expand our ability to receive, but the universe knows how we can receive. And if the only way you know how to receive something is through a person, people are going to appear in your life who encourage you to overcome the bullshit. Fear. But you have to embrace those people. Not judge them, embrace them. Allow them to show you. You always have the decision to decide if you want to keep going the way they're going or not. Because you might be like, yeah, this is taking me away from my dreams, not towards them. You might feel like, oh, but I know another way. Okay, you might know another way, but who said that there was something wrong with the way I was already going? I'd rather follow my influence than yours because, you know, when I'm over here doing this, it just feels like the journey just feels more magical. I'd rather just get there that way. This boring because you lecturing me and I don't want to hear about how your path is better. I really don't give a fuck about what you think. And I don't even know why I'm walking this shit because I'm tired of hearing you talk. Shut the fuck up, actually. And no, if I go over here on the way that I know works for me, that you don't want to be on, at least I'll get some peace because I won't have to hear you. Shut the fuck up. I can't make you shut up, but I know what I can do to where I won't have to hear you talk. You know? These are choices. These are choices. You can't make nobody shut up, but you can choose to go in a direction that they don't want to go in, because that's why they're judging you, so that you don't go in that direction, so that you don't see that they're afraid to go in that direction. But if you're not afraid, go in that direction, because then you can do something that you want to do, and you don't have to hear what you don't give a fuck about, which is what they're telling you you shouldn't care about. But who the fuck are they? The hermit. Cause low key, following shit that just feels the furthest from magic will lead you towards death. Even though the hermit is where you're supposed to be going. Experiencing so that you can keep breaking thresholds, keep growing, keep evolving, keep allowing yourself to see the other side of things. Gain more wisdom, more understanding. Not a permanent destination where you just stand there and just wait for something to come run you the fuck over because after, man, whatever. Bro, live. Go in the direction that encourages you to live. Go down the road that seems endless. Because then at least you know you'll always give yourself the opportunity to change your mind and go down another path. Don't go towards down the path or follow the people that you know lead to dead fucking ends. I don't give a fuck how much they judging you. They ass gonna be dead one day. And if you still alive, well, guess what? They judgments didn't matter then, shouldn't matter now. They ass is dead. They ain't got no body. You do. You do. Man, what the hell? It's crazy because what I'm getting is like, somebody might die so that you can see, so spirit can show you just how much their opinion literally never mattered. Their judgment never mattered. And that sucks for them. But now you can live your life doing what you want to do and never have to think about what the fuck they think about it. Now, some people still have an influence over you after they did. Like, some spirits just have that much of an influence over you. That might have something to do with your 5th house. It might have something to do with your fourth house. Right? Because essentially your 4th house influences your 5th house and determines like what you believe when you get to your 10th house. Right? What you believe you're worthy of. What your 10th house is worthy of looking like. What you believe your 10th house is worthy of looking like, yeah. Or if you believe you're worthy of your 10th house. Of even making it that far. In your journey. But yeah. If you don't know why something has so much of an influence over you, check your 5th house and your 4th house. Because that is usually, like I said, you are what you value, right? What you choose to ingest, what you choose to entertain, right? What you choose to create magic with. 2nd house. That also determines 3rd house, how you communicate with yourself, how you allow yourself to communicate with your spirit, how you allow your spirit to communicate with you. If that's even something, a part of you that's integrated into what you understand as you, right? Which will be based on how you were nurtured. 4th house. 4th house. Home. What does that mean to you? What does that feel like to you? Type shit. This is somebody who comes from a broken home. No shade. Many of us come from broken homes. Or as far as the world likes to call it. Like, I don't believe I grew up in a broken home. My dad wasn't there, but I had a hella family. I had plenty of masculine male influences. Like, I know. Like, yeah, I really didn't have daddy issues. The world tried to convince me I did, but I knew I didn't have daddy issues because it's like, that nigga don't mean nothing to me. Like, I didn't miss out on anything just because he wasn't there. I didn't miss out on anything, like, at all. No, nothing at all. And that's something I had to, learn in my life. Other people's idea of what your life is don't mean that that's the truth about what your life is. That's just their judgment. It's up to you whether you allow them to affect you based off what you believe. right? But this is somebody who actually gave into what other people believe. Like you can think for yourself. You're a free thinker. You're someone who can think for yourself. This is not. This is somebody who, like, they're always trying to, like, appear perfect in other people's eyes. I don't really think you give a whole lot about what other people think. But I think that at some point in your life, you started to give a fuck. And then you know, that created a battle within you because the 12 parts of you couldn't seem to agree on anything. Because it's split. So it's a split decision. And half of that decision, half of that understanding is being influenced by a motherfucker who don't even understand you. That's like men voting on women's bodies. You are not a woman. Don't know what it's like to be a woman. You do not live in a female body. You have no idea. You shouldn't have no say. Like, what the fuck are you? Shut up. Actually, shut the fuck up. Imagine that having it internally. Like, that's why I say campaigning against yourself does nothing for the mind or the body. It never did any good for the mind or the body, the soul or the spirit, the piece or the whole. It does nothing. Fighting against the self. Learn to understand the self. And then you'll understand why. And then once you understand why, it's like, oh, okay, I realize I don't have to fight. I have more influence over me than anyone else does. I can convince me. I can convince enough of me to vote against the parts of me that are just dead set on not understanding me. And then that part of me will have to surrender to me. And then eventually it will understand me. You can control that within yourself. You can't control that within other people. No, bruh. No. But this is somebody who wanted you to surrender to them. That was the victory for them. Two of Cups. Creating a connection so they can convince you of what the fuck they feel like you should believe. Then they could control you because you would be at war with yourself. And they'd always be in your ear so that you'd stay at war with yourself. And you think that you're at war with yourself because of something you're doing. No, you're at war with yourself because you're listening to what the fuck they're saying. That has nothing to do with you, for real. This motherfucker cares too much about what other people think. But guess what? Your life has become, you have returned to the birthplace of your dreams. That's what I'll say. You have returned to the birthplace of your dreams. And this person is realizing that they're just an employee in the amusement park. Stuck. Doing a job that they were influenced to do, even though they hate doing it. And then it's even worse because the one person that made them feel worthy of anything no longer has a reason to visit the amusement park daily because you've expanded and returned to your own magic. And so it is because it is so from the stars above and the skies below. Oh, shit.